Hello everyone, I am Tacet, and today I'm going to be going over the new game mode of Bounty Hunter and pretty much all of the basics that you need to know with it. So Bounty Hunter is occurring right now for the first time ever. It lasts for 3 days, all the way from the Friday reset in the morning, all the way until Monday reset. So basically the entirety of the weekend is how long it lasts. It occurs once every month, and it has quite a few rewards that you can end up earning throughout the game mode. You can access it by going over here into games underneath the bounty hunter. If it's not currently a bounty hunter event, this little icon right here will show how much time until the next bounty hunter event. During a bounty hunter event, it will of course show how much longer it is for this bounty hunter event. Unfortunately, the system is set up very similarly to all of the other sigil systems in this game, where you basically get 4 additional sigils every single day, and you can buy a bunch of packs to be able to bring it further. I actually did end up buying every single pack this time around, which cost 1,310 gems. Quite expensive, but I wanted to do this for the initial time. The main reason being is there are bounty hunter troops that you'll end up accessing through doing this, and since there has been no way to actually obtain these troops prior to now, it was basically the only way of actually obtaining them. So I did it for this first week. Probably won't be doing it again, but at least this means for the streams that we'll be doing today and tomorrow, we'll have plenty of battles to do for Bounty Hunter, that is for sure, particularly today. But anyways, these 4 new troops can be found under here. Let's just type in Bounty, and all of them will be shown here. Most of them are sheer useless. We have Ice Wraith, Parrot, Rift, Lynx, and the Scavenger. Every single week, there'll be a specific leader for the Bounty Hunter. This week, it is the Ice Wraith. The leader gives twice as much effectiveness on its bounty, so basically twice as much. So if you had a 4 times multiplier here, it'd be an 8 times. These multipliers end up increasing your amount of points that you would gain within a battle, and while Bounty Hunter doesn't have a particular restrictions on the troops that you can use, you're pretty much going to be wanting to use 3 or 4 Bounty Hunter troops every single battle in order to maximize your amount of points, since you do have a limited amount of sigils. But as far as what these 3 troops do, or 4 troops do, they're pretty useless. They are base rare as far as their rarity, so their abilities are pretty bad, but this guy does damage to an enemy, freezes them, and then steals 5 mana if they're frozen, which means he actually gets to claim it as well. His traits aren't really that good, just a freeze, which does synergize with his ability, and just the standard undead trait. The Parrot, I do like the art for it. It also has a pretty nice silence. It deals damage to an enemy and then silences them, and then a 50% chance to silence adjacent enemies. From what I can tell, I believe it's a 50% roll that if it triggers, it will trigger both of them, though I'm not fully certain on that. But yes, 50% chance to do the adjacents and 100% chance to do whatever it targets. Pretty standard silence. Nice to see additional silence capabilities be added to the game. This one is actually quite viable. Out of all 4 of them that are currently available, this one I would have to say is currently the best. We have this Rift Lynx, which is basically just a weaker version of Miststalker, though it does have a slightly unique aspect to it. It deals true damage to an enemy, but then knocks them to the back. So you can knock anything on the opposing team all the way to the last slot. In most cases, on a normal team, you'd be running with Miststalker, though, of course, in Bounty Hunter, you'd be throwing this guy in just for his extra points, since there aren't really that many options as of currently. He does have one nice aspect, which is similar to a Miststalker, which is the Stealthy, which will make sure it can't be single-targeted, so it will survive for a while. This little spaghetti monster Star Wars thing, I don't even know what to call this, wow. Very interesting, but this one is basically useless. It deals damage to an enemy and then creates 7 purples, way too small of a gem to ever be useful, way too small of a damage to ever be useful, and it's basically never going to be used, not even for Bounty Hunter, unless you happen to be running a 4 times Bounty Hunter team, because at this current moment in time, you don't have a 5th option, so there is no 4th option to place in there, at least not until the next Bounty Hunter event. Every single Bounty Hunter event, they will be adding a new one of the leaders that will have a higher bonus on the given week. They are definitely advised to use, as they will have quite a bit higher of a bonus than everything else as far as Bounty Hunter troops are concerned. Over here you can see the scores. You go all the way through all of these, whatever bounty multiplier you have. Like if we click on here, we have 24 times. This is because we had the leader, which is giving us 12 times. It's based on Ascension, so since he's mythic, we're getting that full 6 times. And then we have these other ones all at epic, which means they're currently getting a 4 times, and that added together 4 times 4 times 4 times, it's 12 times, 12 times 12 times, that is 24 times total, as you can see there. Do keep in mind that these troops need to be unique. So if we go and, for example, type in a ice. Of course, there's so many things with ice in it. But if we go and do this, you'll notice our multiplier just went down, not up. The reason for this is every bounty hunter troop that you use must be unique, so do keep that in mind. Every single one of these have to be a different one. You're not allowed to use multiple leaders. You're not allowed to use multiple of any of them. They have to be completely different in order to get your maximum amount of points there. And let's see, we go over to rewards. As far as rewards, there are some pretty nice things that you can get, though most of them you will have to pay resources for, as this is not guild-wide. It is on an individual basis what you get as rewards. But you do get some pretty nice ones. You get 3 Chaos Orbs from going all the way through. You get 2 Vault Keys, one right there and one all the way over here. And you get 2 Orbs of Chaos if you can make it all the way through. So definitely quite a bit of decent rewards. Would probably advise getting to... Actually, I don't even know where the sweet spot would be to actually end at. I'm not sure how far you'd be able to get for free either. But would definitely want to reach at least this first Vault Key, because that gives you an orb and it gives you a Vault Key. And that should be pretty easy. I think you can even get that with 0 packs, not fully certain though. But yeah, that should be quite manageable, I think, getting up to first Vault Key. And that would be a decent amount of reward for not that much, maybe even no cost at all. But I will be probably going all the way to the end every single time, because 2 Orbs of Chaos is definitely very nice. And in doing so, maybe we'll even make the leaderboard, who knows. If we could get 1 additional orb, that'd be kind of nice. And it's actually a little bit cheaper this week to get all of the packs. I believe they're doing that only for this game mode, since it's on an individual basis instead of on a guild-wide basis. But anyways, let me go just show a quick battle with this. As I mentioned, every single troop needs to be unique. You obviously want to be using whatever the current troop is of the week. You can easily tell this by whichever new one comes in, or whichever one is available through the reward system. But another way to tell is I believe it shows it in events. So if we go over to this, you can see that the Bounty Hunter multiplier, it says that the Bounty Captain is an Ice Wraith. This means that he's giving twice as much effectiveness when used within Bounty Hunter during the Bounty Hunter events. Anyways, let's go into Bounty Hunter. Do keep in mind these troops will be available about 1 month after this game mode. So they will be within the drop pool probably by the time that the next Bounty Hunter comes out. So you will be able to stock up on them then. The only reason I got so many of them now is because we haven't had the possibility, nor are they in the drop pool at the moment. They are not in any drop pool, but they will be in about a month or so. So once they start coming into the drop pool, Bounty Hunter should be quite a bit easier to actually do, as you'll just already have a stock of them simply from opening up keys. But anyways, let's get into the first battle here. I will be showing, real quick, a team in PvP, or just kind of showing a couple different variants, maybe not even showing them at the moment, but, you know, just showing them as far as the actual team, not like actually playing them, but just to kind of show some of the things that you would change into, because obviously what we're using right now, there's no way you can do them through all the battles. They go and scale up to about level 90 by the time you reach the final battle, and once you reach the final battle, you keep repeating it. You can repeat previous battles, though, if you want, if you are finding it too hard to do the level 20 battle with whatever you have. Maybe if you don't have enough upgrades or anything like that. So do keep that in mind, so you can downgrade and get points that way. It's not like in raids or invasions where once you get to like a certain level range, and if you're starting to struggle with it, you can't go back to an easier level range. Though with Bounty Hunter, you can go and backtrack to a easier level if you so choose to do so. But let's go and throw this down, and that is pretty much it. Of course, these are the easier battles up front, and we will have to scale into harder stuff later on. As far as harder things that you would need to scale in, as far as for this week, there are 3 different options. As you can see here, this is likely what I will be using. It is Ice Wraith, the World Breaker Parrot, and the Lynx. With a banner set completely towards the World Breaker with a +2 red, +1 yellow. Of course, there are cheaper options to this if you don't want to go with something this expensive, or of course if you don't have a World Breaker. Next best thing I would say is Christinex. Someone from my guild already ran through all the battles with this, so this would definitely work. Ice Wraith, Christinex, Parrot, and Lynx. Also, if you happen to not have a Christinex, you could also use the current legend that is available this week in the event key drop pool. Let's see if I can remember her name, and there it is. I wouldn't advise this compared to a Christinex, as she would be, I believe, a little bit weaker, but you could do this as an alternative if you so choose. You could just use a Hindla there, and Hindla will have the freeze, a okay amount of damage, not like a Christinex, but still pretty competent. And assuming fully traded, you would also get that bonus stats over time, and you mainly also need her for summon. Another reason why Christinex would be pretty decent, as you would keep getting a frontline tank if your Ice Wraith was to die. One other thing to keep in mind is if a troop does die within the Bounty Hunter, you still gain the full amount of points, so do keep that in mind. So even if we, let's say, lose our Ice Wraith, we're not going to lose the 12 times multiplier that we currently have on him. We will still have that at the end of the battle. So you could lose your entire team other than your Christinax or your Hindla or something like that. You could just have that alive, and then boom, you just won the battle. So even if only one is remaining, you still gain the full amount of points, similar to both invasions and raids, in that it doesn't matter how well you do in the battle, it just matters if you win the battle. And in this game mode, while there isn't any specific restrictions, you can do literally anything on the battle, it is highly advised to be using at least 3, if not 4, of the actual bounty hunter troops. There's currently no synergy that would allow you to just use 4 for every single battle, but for the earlier battles, definitely is possible. But anyways, guys, I believe that's pretty much everything I need to mention with this. We will, of course, be streaming this today and tomorrow for a couple hours, particularly today, as I will probably be using a good majority of these 40 battles just to kind of see what kind of rewards we can get. Hopefully we can get all of them. Hopefully we can get some lucky stuff out of the keys and stuff. As far as what we currently have, we can actually get an Orb of Chaos right now, so let me go see what we get from that little thing. The blue and purple ones are really, really good value, though if we get something else other than that, that is pretty much a complete waste. Let's just see what we get from it real quick, and as you can see right there, that is a purple one. We're getting really lucky with Orb of Clans. I think that's like our 4th or 5th one, which is quite insane, but there we go, very nice. Orb of Clans is 300 seals, which is basically 15 gem keys for me. So that's essentially like getting 150 gems right there, which is one of the reasons why I've kind of justified going and getting all these rewards. Because if you break it down, Orb of Clans and Orb of Ascension both are worth quite a bit. Orb of Clans is worth about 150 gems, and the bigger Orb of Clans is worth about 75 gem keys, which is, I guess, technically about 750 gems or so. And as far as the Orb of Ascension, I would consider the smaller one worth about 500 or so gems, and the bigger one to be worth about 1,000 gems. The main reason for this is they can save you in having to get additional troops. For example, right now in the event key drop pool, we have the Hindla, as I was mentioning, but currently I only have her at Legend. But let's say it was something really special and I wanted to actually get it to Mythic. Well, instead of having to spend like maybe 675 or even almost 1,300 more gems, I could just go to Hindla and use that smaller blue orb, and that would save us all of the cost of doing that. So we could just use that blue orb right there, boom, and that would bring her to Mythic instead of wasting a bunch more on keys that we don't really need. So that's one of the better values of those orbs, and one of the reasons why I've kind of justified the cost. Though I do have to say it is quite expensive. It's still pay to win for the leaderboard. That is very obvious. This entire leaderboard is whoever wants to throw the most amount of 200 packs right here. I've never gotten to this point, but as you can see, it is repeatable. You can buy this infinite number of times, and it's even cheaper this week, so it's very, very, very easy to do. So yeah, it's still fully pay to win, still fully an energy system, though it does seem like it'll be a decent amount of fun, and the rewards for it are justifiable. So we'll be trying to grind out those. Anyways, guys, pretty much everything I wanted to mention with the Bounty Hunter. I don't believe I missed anything. I will be posting the full explanation that they made on the forum. They made a nice little graphic for it and everything like that. But if you still have any additional questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. Maybe if I didn't mention anything, or if you just have any questions in general or team builds that you need help with. But basically all you really need is triple of the Bounty Hunter troops using the guild leader, plus one really big troop. Doesn't really matter too much what that really big troop is. It just needs to be something that's really good at surviving while simultaneously doing a lot of damage. But anyways, guys, that'll be it for now. We'll be streaming at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time today and tomorrow. So that's pretty much about an hour after this video goes up or so. So we'll be doing that, basically grinding this out today and seeing what we can get from it. Anyways, guys, I'll see you all later. Have a wonderful weekend. Best of luck with the Bounty Hunter. Have a good St. Patrick's Day, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye, everyone.